Good morning, everyone. This is Gail with TradersHelpDesk, and I actually wanted to go over the E-mini futures this morning. On the Russell, which is what we're going to start with, you can see that on the 360, you're making higher highs, but both the stochastics and the RSI, as well as the ADX, is not going higher. Now, that is your first warning sign. But looking over at the weekly, you see that it just turned up. And this could go back and test the 1618 area, possibly the 1602 area. You also see this line of red dots here. It has provided resistance, and it's also coming off of this last high at 1603.9. I personally would like to see it go above this area and then read the stochastics when it does that, because as it stands right now, it could have divergence, and that could signal a push back to either the slow moving average or the ATR. So again, I think it's going to go higher. I would like to see it go higher than 1600, just so that I could see whether we have divergence or not. Let's go down to the ES, and then we'll do the NASDAQ. And of course, on the NASDAQ, and again, I want to start over here on the left-hand side. You can see that right now we're testing that line of congestion dots. But again, I would like to see it tick above 2951. And that would potentially give us divergence here off of that high. Also, on the daily, you can see right now we do have a bullish bar. Okay, we did have a magenta dot, but the moving average actually supported price there. If I go out and expand it, you can see on one bar they came down and tested it, they found support, and then of course it went back up. Again, I would like to see it go above the previous high, which was back on September 17th. I'd like to see it push through that before I decide to take an entry, unless it's to the long side, of course. Then on the 360, you can see also this is saying the momentum is to the upside, and to the upside. Currently, we did have some divergence here along this area. Right in here, we had divergence. I would like to see this move up in another strong divergence on the ES. That could signal that the market is going to go down to about 28.85. May not happen until next week. Now we'll go over and look at the NASDAQ. And on the NASDAQ, let's see, take the auto off, you can see that it is breaking through these congestion dots. But again, you do have some potential resistance at 77.31. You have a line of congestion dots up here at 78.82. I'm thinking it's going to head to 7,800, and then I would like to see divergence on the weekly stochastics that gives you a stronger move. Over on the daily chart, you do see that the moving average did support price, but you also see that the ADX is overextended. You also had divergence here on the stochastics as well as the RSI. Now, what I would like to see, again, I'd like this to reach up to about 7,800, and then I would like to see that divergence come back in. If we go down to the 360 minute, you can see that it's heading up here to test 76.61. We have the stochastics curling to the upside. There was actually hidden divergence here between the lows, so that gave us a big push up yesterday. The only thing that worries me on this is you are getting divergence on the highs here. And when you see this divergence on the highs, typically that means that they're losing strength. I'm hoping they still have enough power to push it up to this 7,800 area, which is just about, it's just a little bit higher than what that last high was on the weekly back in October. That's where I would really like to read the divergence to see if this is going to continue up or not. As it stands right now, my only position would be to the long side until I start seeing that divergence on these higher time frames.